A P to the V to the E production presents with James and Blue.
Let's start with Iron Man. I'll let you. I actually put Blue. I'll let you start first since you're the comic book expert, in my opinion.
I appreciate that. So, I liked Iron Man a lot. Iron Man was fantastic. It was a really good introduction to the Marvel Universe. It was a really great start. Jon Favreau came in with the idea of building up around Iron Man to make it towards the Avengers.
Right.
Which is really great because in the comic books, it did center around Iron Man. He was the first one who was like, hey guys, we need to come together and work together to fight these threats sort of thing. So it makes sense that they started with it. I would definitely put that in the top 3. I would probably put it at number 3.
Yeah, so you have it at number 3. I did like Iron Man. I remember when I first went to go see Iron Man, I remember I tried to talk. I don't know if you were busy or we weren't hanging out, but I tried to ask a few other friends. No one wanted to see it, so I went to the theater myself and thrown away. You remember, I'm not a real big Iron Man fan, so I didn't really know what I was going to get.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the best comic book movie in my life. That's how I felt at the time when I watched it.
Oh, dude, it was... So, before Iron Man, we really had, the Michael Keaton Batman movies. We had the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, which for the time was really good.
Yeah, they were really good, but there was something Iron Man took it to
it did. It took it to the next level. What the X-Men couldn't quite capture, because the X-Men couldn't break that, colored spandex barrier.
Yeah.
And Iron Man paved the way for them to do that.
Yeah, because Iron Man looked amazing.
Yeah, he did.
Red and gold and everything.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't have to realistic him up. They were able to keep it really comic book accurate, but in the real world, and shown that it was able to be done.
Yep.
And it was a great step forward. I thought it was a really solid thing, and we wouldn't have the MCU today without it.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
It's great acting, great storytelling.
Totally, across the board.
Yeah, so maybe Iron Man is higher, because my first thought is, because I already kind of know of my top 5, or I'm having a pretty idea, but I guess I'm going to stick Iron Man number 5 for me, because I still got... Iron Man was amazing, but they did step it up.
I might knock it down a couple steps later down, but for now, I'm just gonna keep it at a 3.
So what we got next? Black Panther. So this one was an interesting one, because I don't really know much about Black Panther either, but...
So Black Panther is a solid 4 for me.
Okay.
So Black Panther's your number 2.
Number 3. Number 3. Yep.
All right.
Because I got my number 2 in mind.
I put it at number 4. As just a standalone movie, it's a fantastic story, start to finish. It's very self-contained.
Yeah.
You don't really need to know anything that's going on with the MCU with it.
Not really at all.
But everything that you learn in it directly applies to the MCU. It has major effects,
Yeah, this is almost the Age of Ultron type of effect.
Yeah, exactly. Almost to that level.
Yeah.
But you don't need to know. It's a really good dynamic that they had going on there.
Well, I look at Black Panther as just a character intro movie. Most character intro movies, they don't really necessarily tie into the huge main story of it.
And then if you look at it on paper, the way that they present Black Panther in the MCU, he's basically Captain America in the Iron Man suit.
Yeah, basically that's exact. He's got a super serum and he's got this super suit.
Yeah, super serum and a super suit. And so to have a character like that, and you have an entire movie that's propelled by the vulnerability of this character, that's really hard to do and really well done.
Yeah.
It is really fantastic. They did a really great job of paying close attention to incorporating African culture in there. They made Wakanda a great standalone utopian country.
The technology, in a way, the technology looked in Wakanda looked amazing. I wish they showed more in that movie, but it looked great.
Oh, they did a lot of fantastic things, and I feel like it grew out the MCU a lot. And it was Michael B. Jordan did he killed
He was so good that people want him to come back. They don't even care how. They're just like, just bring him back.
Just bring it back.
I've never seen a character like that where like no one cares about the story or why he's back. They just want him back.
I just have a walk on the set like, hey.
Yeah, I landed. I swam somewhere and I'm good now.
Yeah. Nah, that's cool. I had a parachute. It's all good. But yeah, it was a solid movie, man.
Yeah, okay.
Like start to finish.
Yeah, me too. I guess we're pretty much in the same track as Blake.
Yeah.
All right, so this one's another one of those controversy type Marvel movies.
So a lot of people will like argue with me to the bitter end, but this is like my number 2.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I slammed this at number 2. Now, I fully like straight out upfront admit that there's like a lot of cinematic issues with it, like the turnaround scenes and stuff like that.
The scene where they're all busting through the forest.
Yeah, there's like a lot of posing going on. So there's a lot of that, you know, and like framing certain characters for certain moves and stuff like that. They're going a little too deep into trying to like make that comic book feel like more comic book. But that's like really the only drawback to the movie. James Spader was fantastic. Well, the other drawback was Ultron's bounty.
Yeah, I don't understand that why they even did it.
Yeah,
they could have just hit flashing lights or something if they wanted to do.
That's what I thought, dude. Just like a pulsing light inside the open mouth would have been like so much more menacing and cheaper.
Yeah, and it would have made him more robotic too.
Yeah. Well, and you know, more comic accurate for like the fans and stuff.
Oh,
like,
okay. Because in the I was thinking they did that because of the comic.
No, in the comics it's just a gaping open mouth with pulsing lights inside. You know, like that's how they do it in the cartoons and stuff. You know.
Yeah,
like,
you know, I do remember them in the cartoons, and that's exactly how they do it.
Yeah. So like, but those are like the only 2 like real drawbacks to the movie. Like, as far as like progressing the storyline of the overall MCU, like this was the story. Like everything comes out because of Sokovia falling.
Yeah, but you don't think like, you know, there's this theory that Marvel got pissed off because everybody crapped on this movie, so they reworked their story to all tie back to this movie. So now you have to love this movie.
I think that's like, I think that's a brave statement and a lot of work.
Like they really wanted everybody to like this movie, so they reworked every aspect of all the Marvel.
I think it's far more likely they would do something like Snyder Cut and release like a different version with the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they would find a way to erase it from happening. You know, because they just want to make money. They don't want to force people like to like their shit. They just want to make stuff that people like.
Yeah, that's true. That's what their main goal is.
Yeah. But like, I mean, we introduced like Wanda, who becomes like a major player later on.
Yep.
Ultron was handled like really well by James Spader. I liked how James Spader's voice like lent itself to the character. It was great. I liked Aaron, what's his name, as Quicksilver. It's again unpopular opinion, but I'm cool with it.
I mean, he was fine. I don't have really opinion on that character, Quicksilver. So yeah, for what he did, it was cool. He didn't throw me out, or I believe that he was his brother and stuff like that. So
people made jokes about him like not being able to outrun bullets, but like if you watch the scene, like he ran in front of the bullets to block them. You know, like this guy isn't the Flash. He can't just pull bullets out of the air.
Right.
You know,
like he was so far back that it was so last second when he grabbed those people that he didn't have time.
Yeah, no, he was just like pulling the hero move. You know, and that's a common Joss Whedon trope that shows up in all the Joss Whedon movies.
Yeah.
You know, like you just watch it, but like I mean, overall, like the Sokovia Accords and like what happened on Sokovia and the breaking up of the Avengers, all of these things happen in this movie. You know, like this is the movie that is like the crux that propels the story from like the rest.
Well, they don't break up in this movie though. I think they break up in Civil War. They were at this movie. They were no, they were still on the same team. They were
still on the same team, but there was that divide. You know, the line.
Everybody was definitely pissed off at Tony Stark because he created Ultron.
Yeah.
You know, and so there was, but it wasn't the government. I don't think was that wasn't an issue until Civil War.
So, and I also I love Vision, and like Vision showed up in this movie, and Paul Bettany as Vision is one of the best casting calls.
I wonder if they knew that when they cast Iron Man 1 and made him the voice.
They didn't. No, they didn't.
Yeah, okay.
And then when they came to the story and organically were like, oh, we could make Jarvis, they were like, hey, you wanna do this?
Yeah, because they're probably like, you do tons of action movies. I know he's done a ton of like crazy.
So when he got hired for the MCU, like right before he got the phone call that told him that they wanted him to come be Jarvis, his agent just fired him and said that he would never work in Hollywood again, that he was just like unsellable.
Oh, really?
And that he couldn't get him a job and that he was like done representing him. And so Paul Bettany was like, now what am I gonna do with my life? And then he gets a call from freaking Marvel and like Jon Favreau. They're like, hey, we want you to be the voice in Iron Man. And he's like, yeah, screw it, dude, I'll do it. And he's like, here I am 20 years later, like in spandex, like still doing this thing. So they're like, will you come back to be Vision? And he was like, yeah, of course, man. They made my career continue. I'll keep coming.
He might be a lifer.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that a lot. Yeah, so Age of Ultron, I liked Age of Ultron too. I think I was you that I told you that I liked Age of Ultron, and you were like, yeah, I like it as well. And I was like, oh, okay, because most people don't.
No, most people like crap on it.
Age of Ultron to me though feels like almost like a filler episode because everything does tie back to it. And that means really nothing gets resolved in the movie. You know, even Ultron, I think we're going to find out didn't get resolved in that movie. I feel like they're going to bring him back somehow.
He really should come back. He's a good villain that you could bring back.
So I mean, it was a good movie, and I'm always loved those team up movies and stuff like that. But it was probably the most comic book out of all the Avengers, even more so than the first Avenger. I felt like
it was very comic booky.
Yeah. So I'm going to give this one a 4. Because I did like it more than Iron Man just because of the whole team. You know, the villain was good. I love the scene where they're all partying and they're going to try to pick up Thor's hammer. Oh. And I like how everybody argues, like, could Captain pick it up? Could he not? You know, we'll never know. So I like that. So yeah, Age of Ultron, that one is definitely underrated. People need to quit saying that's a bad movie. Cap 2, Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go off right off the bat. My #1 favorite movie. I love this movie.
I also think that this is the best movie in the MCU.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, this is the #1.
Well, usually, a lot of people don't pick this movie as #1.
So this movie has so many fantastic moments that like don't just propel Captain America, but propels like the entire MCU.
Yeah, all of S.H.I.E.L.D. pretty much.
Introduces Wakanda, introduces the Black Panther, develops the Black Widow story.
Yep.
Develops Captain America more.
Yep.
Shows the underside and all the nastiness going on in S.H.I.E.L.D. and how Hydra's like infiltrating everything behind the scenes.
Yes.
The giant friggin' battle scene with all the helicarriers, dude.
Yeah.
Like, there's just so much to love about this movie.
Mention freaking Winter Soldier.
You're right. Like, never mind, like introducing the Winter Soldier.
Who is an amazing character.
Fantastic.
I was blown away. I never heard of Winter Soldier. I read some Captain America books, but the ones I read must not have Winter Soldier. I've never even heard of that character before. And I was blown away. And I was like, man, this guy is...
He's like the last like 20, 25 years. Last 20 years.
Yeah, I probably just missed him then in the comic books. But
yeah,
the movie, man, he was cool. He was the first time I felt like Cap had a threat, like a legitimate threat against him and stuff like that.
Well, that's what he was made to be. That's what he was originally created. But he was handled really, really well. And that movie was just fantastic, start to bottom. You would have a really hard time convincing me of like flaws in that movie.
Yeah, holes or anything like that. Everything's pretty good explained and it flows together. And they don't do nothing crazy. You know, they don't all of a sudden have like the magical cure or something like that.
Yeah, like everything kind of like strings together and like there's an explanation on why everything is pulling together the way that it is.
And just some of those scenes, like the Nick Fury scene where he's in the truck, like. Just not just him getting caught and then busting out here, but him driving through the traffic, him controlling his car, knocking out soldiers, and Winter Soldier. All that was amazing.
It's just great choreography, like great planning all the way through.
Yeah. Okay, we don't really need to say too much about that one.
We just hands down agree.